Danny on the beat, boy.
Welcome to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's your host, Eddie Ardell, my man G Witt, Mr. J Lou. What's going on, J Lou?
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up, man. Come on in and join us, man. Thank you for joining us at this special time today. Get your comments and questions in on the show today, man. We got a lot to talk about. And it's hard to say this at week 3, guys. It's gut check time for the Tennessee Titans already just in the 3rd week of the season. So, big matchup we knew coming in. Tough defensive front. We talked about it last week on the show. With Swartz running that defense, that wide 9, having those guys pressing up on the line of scrimmage. We saw that all game long. After resilient play last week and the win in overtime over the Chargers, we all agreed the offense needed to start faster. Had some questionable play calls early on in that game. Then, they hit Treylon on the deep route, and then things open up. And then also we had to contain Deshaun Watson. Results: Browns 27, Titans 3. Let me say this real quick, fellas. It kind of had a feeling to me. You think about the Buffalo game from last year. We got boat raced at Buffalo, and it was the same type of results, it seems like to me. I felt that same way. That one or the Philly game. Take your pick, either one. It felt like the same type of performance today, getting beat in all 3 phases, not playing complimentary football, as Vrabel likes to say, doing his press conferences. And so, G-Witt, man, this a couple thoughts initially after seeing this game today. What you think about this team after 3 weeks of the 2023 season?
Well, like I said, first of all, this is a game really you don't even talk about because, there's nothing good that came out of it, in all honesty. Secondly, with this, you just got to go back and regroup. And I agree with you. It is a gut check time. And it's not so much about being on the winning side of the ball, but it's more about playing better. And right now we got a team, the defense got worn down. Let's just be honest about that. And we got an offense that is dysfunctional. No consistency from week to week. Offensive line is still in shambles. And again, Jim Swartz did what I thought he would do. He shut down Derrick Henry, said Tannehill's going to have to beat us, and we're going to rush the passer. And he knows that Tannehill is a panic thrower. So the thing you're going to see about Tannehill when he gets in those situations, he's going to make throws. He's going to miss a lot of throws because he's panicking. I thought the receivers, with possibly the exception of D-Hop, really did him no favors. So really these coaches will have to go back and take a look at everything and see what they can do differently, because what they've done for the past 3 games has really not worked. Even when you look at what they did against the Chargers last week, like you said, it took a couple of big plays in order for that to happen. But, when you can't run the ball in a team like this and you don't have a stellar quarterback who can get you out of those situations, you're dead in the water. So Vrabel, Jeffrey Simmons had the best answer about this, him and Derrick Henry both. And Jeffrey Simmons says, it's time to quit talking about we got to play better, we got to coach better. We need to quit talking. He said, we've been saying that for the past year and a half. You just got to do it, And Derrick Henry made a good point. He said, it's one of those games where you just got to come back and say, you got to be a man and step up and do your job. Bottom line. So, I agree with both of them. Jeffrey Simmons is dead on. It's time to quit talking about we got to coach better, we got to play better. Quit talking like that. Go out there and coach better, go out there and play better. And like Derrick Henry said, time to man up. Do your job, get out there, play ball, and win some games. That's all it is to it.
J. Lou, about your thoughts, man, after this one?
Yeah, well, I think a couple good things came out. Wasn't no major injuries. That's always a plus with this Titans team. You saw your field goal kicker stay perfect for the year.
Can't say that too many times.
Outside of that, I think it was Nathan or somebody put in the chat. Overall, the last 10 games, these Titans are like, 1-9? And that's coaching. Vrabel, we got an offensive line coach that you promoted as a young guy. And I don't think it starts at the top with coaching. you know, we brought in somebody who arguably is a defensive coordinator in waiting at the DB coach, and our DBs are not taught to turn around and look for the ball. That is just so frustrating. You know, and I agree with, you know, I heard what them saying, you know, stop saying coach better, play better. I'm not going to get a defensive pass this game because the very first drive of the game,
no, I'm not either.
Could have been a 3 and out, and you talked all week. And I'm talking about Big Jeff. You know, I love me some Big Jeff, but your big dogs talked all week long about Watson holds on to the ball, gives you chances. You got to get him down. Arden Key was out there looking like he was on a merry-go-round, running around and around. And then they missing tackles. I mean, we're 3 weeks into the season. I give you the first game or so when you're not making tackles because you don't play preseason and you ain't tackling in practice. But we're missing tackles, communication gaps in the secondary. You know, for everything that people want to say about Sean Murphy-Bunting and his physicality and bonehead penalties, at least I feel like he's attempting. Roger McQuarrie still looks lost half throughout the game in coverage. Fulton is somebody who a change of scenery might do him some good. I'm not going to say he's not a bad player, not a good player, but I just don't think. I think him and the Titans need to part ways, and you know it might work out for him. You hate to see it for somebody like Kevin Byard, who I think is giving his all out there on the field week in and week out. The offensive line today is coaching malpractice when you allow Myles Garrett to – it was embarrassing to watch Myles Garrett run in motion, and we took a timeout because 2 offensive players ran in motion back
both
and
tight
forth.
Ends, yeah.
Both tight ends. It's coaching malpractice when you don't chip or go into the game with a game plan with something. I'll continue to say it. Everybody keeps saying the offense is the same as last year. I'm gonna disagree with the scheme and stuff. I think it's different. I think the philosophy is the same, whereas Tim Kelly continues to struggle when teams adjust against him. We didn't see no adjustments from like they went in and give Schwartz his credit. He went in there and talked to me. He said, Derrick Henry, you're not doing nothing today. Let's make Tannehill beat us. And we never adjusted. This was the game. Deshaun Watson looked horrible all year, the last 9 games. This was his get-right game. He probably knew it was going to happen when he had the Titans circled because he knew what he did against them as the Texans. So I agree with what was said by the players. They've got to – coaching well. Everyone has to stop saying we're going to coach better. And it's week 4. You're going into week 4. And again, it's early. I'll give them that. It's still early in the season. But you've got to make changes now. If Peter is healthy this week, the offensive line needs to change, and either he needs to be a left tackle or Dylan needs to be a left tackle and the other one at guard. Like, I don't think we can afford to wait to the bye week, which is in week 7, or until week 10 like you did last year to make changes. We've got to make changes now. If you're and again, Derrick Henry is supposed to be your best player, and there were several drives today before the game got out of hand that he never touched the ball on the field. So again, I put this one all at the top on Mike Vrabel, and it works his way down. And I think today was the first time that I can say in the Vrabel era, minus the injuries last year, today was the first time that I actually thought I saw the team just give up from an effort standpoint.
It looked like it. It looked like they gave up. You know, you guys beat the O-line to death, and I'm not going to mention too much more on that. But, you know, my question is, you chipped all the way down right before the half. You chipped every pass play, and then you get down there and you don't chip. And I don't know if Sharp missed his assignment and decided he was just going to go out without chipping, or, you know, he was, you know, he just was told just to go out without chip, you know, whatever the case may be. But you go all the way down the field and you move the ball, you know, quite efficiently on that particular drive. And, you know, you come away with nothing. Come away with nothing. Again, and I agree with you on the tackling, man. How do you overcome a 2nd and 26 when your quarterback does a bonehead thing and tries to throw a backwards pass, and you overcome that and get points out of it?
Yeah.
I mean, that shouldn't happen to any. This is the NFL. This is not high school. This is not college. This is the NFL. How does it happen in this game when your defense has got the advantage? You're on the backside of the chains. The offense is behind the chains, and you let them out. And so mistackling, bad angles, the communication, like you said, J. Lou, I don't even know what was the issue was on the pass to Amari Cooper. I mean, you got two guys that let him go. You know, you can blame it on Fulton, you can blame it on Hooker. They both were out of position. And then again, we talked about this last week. Bowen is not pressing the gas on the defense. All right. Everybody knows you're gonna run twist stunts, man. Everybody knows that. You're not doing yourself any favors creating. Now, you know, Sean Murphy, but yeah, he creates a strip. But what do we get out of it? We got the ball inside the 20.
Negative 9 yards.
Yeah,
negative 9
get a
yards.
field goal. And so I agree. Somebody said it, and the coaches are the problem at this point, not coaching to win. Too conservative. You get another 3 and out on the first possession of the game, which was, I mean, you look at the play, run, pass. The same thing. Somebody mentioned that they went here. We said it was Todd Downing. Yeah, it was at him. But then you see the same thing with Tim Kelly. So now you got to wonder, right? You got to wonder what's going on in the house. Is this Vrabel dictating this offense the way it should be played? Or, you know, is he letting the guys coach the way they want to coach? So, I mean, it's a lot to be said today about this team. And again, like I said, after 3 weeks, it's gut check time. You know, some of the first half stats, the Titans had 67 yards. You had 94 for the game, but 67 yards on 5 drives, 26 plays, -2 rushing. Cleveland, on the other hand, they had 33 plays on 5 drives, same amount of drives. So they had a possession of the ball, same amount of time, 147 yards total for them. And, you know, Deshaun Watson, he's only missing 4 passes in the first half, 1 touchdown, 2 sacks. But, you know, you mentioned R&K, J. Lou, man. I mean, how does he miss that? But anyway, so let's talk about the defense. I'm tired of talking about them. So, of course, the defense is on the field, again, too soft. I can't say it enough. Missed tackles. Weaver can't set the edge. I mean, we saw that last year when he was playing. He's still having that same issue. I mean, I could go on. I don't care. You could talk about the fish that you want to. It didn't matter. This game, it wasn't lost because of that. Now they had some bad calls, but man, I mean, when are we going to stop the talking, like you said, like they were saying today? Got to stop saying the coaching good and the playing good. Start doing something, because what we're doing is not working.
No, and I agree, man. I don't like when you look across the board at the Browns' offensive receivers. They don't really have anybody that burns and scares me. I mean, Cooper's up there in age a little bit.
He's a route runner.
Still right? Good, but they all route runners. But yet, like, I would love for an analytical person, and I'm sure I can do some research and find it. I want to know the average second down for teams playing against the Titans this year, because I feel like every second down has been second and third or second and fourth against us, because we're giving up. And Watson did it several times today. I'm 8 yards off the ball. I throw a quick 6-yard pass. Like, it's literally half a second and it's gone. We are off the ball entirely too much on our cornerbacks. And you don't look at our team. They're pressing our receiver. They're even pressing Hopkins. I mean, D-Hop still is D-Hop. But they're even pressing him. We've got to press. When you lack in coverage, as our DBs are lacking, and you continue to want to try to just rush 4. And again, I'm telling you, there's some times today where that 4 just looked like they took plays off. They're not getting to the ball. Any NFL quarterback can sit back there and pick you apart. And again, Deshaun Watson is only 3 years removed from being like an MVP caliber type quarterback. So it's just, I'm going to continue to put the blame on the top. I think it starts with Vrabel at the top. I don't think you see Tim Kelly. I don't think you see Bowen. If they were coordinators from somebody else, I find it hard to believe that they'll still run this same scheme. Vrabel's been here for 7 years now, 6-7 years, somewhere in there. And he's changed coordinators two or three times on both sides of the ball. And it's been the exact same philosophy the entire time, with a wrinkle or two here and there. So it starts at the top, and gut check time is, I think Amy needs to have him in the office this week and really have a conversation, because it's not going to change until he decides to quit being stubborn and allow his coaches to coach.
Right. And you can see why it's always second and short, because they're averaging 5.1 yards a play. So and the last few weeks, man. But go ahead, G Witt.
There's nothing to be said.
So you're not gonna say nothing at all?
What do you want me to say?
I mean,
let's be honest about it, man. Seriously, let's be honest about it. Today, without a doubt, the team sucked, and they've been sucking all season because of one thing. You talk about the 2nd and 26, and how far off were the DBs on the line from the line of scrimmage?
I mean,
anytime you're in,
like they always are.
Anytime when you have your DBs playing 8 to 10 yards at the line of scrimmage, same thing happened when Jeff Fisher was here, Mike Munchak, Mike Malarkey, whatever coach the Titans have had. Every time they played that far off the line of scrimmage, they give up first down. They're going to give up 1st and 6, 1st and 8 every time. Every time. It just happens that way. I mean, and again, it goes back to what J. Lou said. Until Vrabel decides that he's going to change his coaching philosophy and start being more aggressive with his defense, start being more aggressive with his offense, it's going to be the same thing. You cannot continue. Basically, what you're telling everybody, in all honesty, with your defensive coverage, that you have no confidence in your secondary, and you have no receivers whatsoever. Your receivers cannot get open. Let's just be real about it. Everybody plays the Titan receivers French coverage, with the exception of D-Hop. They can't get open. And I'm gonna say this. I said it when we was texting back and forth. You can't get into a rhythm if your receivers can't catch the ball. Way too many drops. Chiggs dropping passes. Treylon Burks dropping passes. Too many drops. So somebody's got to make up their mind. My whole thing is still the same. I mean, there's not a lot to say about this team that we haven't said already. I mean, we've been saying the same thing for 3 weeks. Think about it. Same thing. Why on 3rd and long are you 10 yards off the line of scrimmage? That's the same crap Pittsburgh did Monday night against Cleveland. You got them in 3rd and 12, and your DB is playing 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. What do you think they're going to do? Short passes. Yeah, right. If he's doing short passes on you the whole game and you still playing off coverage, you're going to get beat. He's going to throw. He's going to have an 82%, passer rate.
G-Witt?
Oh,
I'll see if I can get him back. But I don't know. I was sitting there trying to think about something he was talking. He was making some good points. But hold on. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I said, it's just one of them. I don't know what's going on. But again, it's just one of them things, man. It's just one of them things. And J. Lou is absolutely right. Until Vrabel does a hard look in his mirror and see that he's got a problem, then, we're in the same boat that we were back in 2018 when he had to make the change from Mariota to Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the same thing. He's gonna have to make some changes as far as how the coaches are calling the game. He's gonna have to make some changes on who's out there playing. Bottom line, because really a game like this, you're absolutely right. It's a gut check. You got beat 27-3.
So, hey man, what's going on with this? So, what I was gonna say though, and I work to get him back. What is it gonna take to have that gut check, J. Lou? What is it gonna take for Vrabel to make changes? I mean, I think the amount of respect that he has for Big Jeff and for Derrick Henry, and to hear both of them, and again, right after the game is when the emotions are high. But to hear both of them kind of, in essence, gut check him in the media today, talking about we got to stop and make some changes, I think that might be the thing that sparks Vrabel, is that leadership committee he has on the team. And again, he's a player's coach, and that's why a lot of people love about it. But so you're hoping that he listens to them. Because again, I'm not saying go back to giving Derrick Henry the ball 30 times, but somebody put it in here earlier. You're trying to phase him out, yeah. Or if you want to force feed Spears, it's better to just have him as a 1-2 punch. Like simply treat him like you treated Derrick Henry at the beginning of his career,
when you spelled who was DeMarco Murray, that was here, and then eventually let him take over. But I think that it's a conversation that has to be had. I don't think Vrabel's the type of coach that'll lose the locker room, because I think just that leadership culture is too strong there. That's why I think that he has a better opportunity of actually taking that feedback and listening to his players. Now, again, they're going to hit us with the old it's still early. We got things to work through. And again, it's only week 3. And we get that, but we'll look up and it'll be November, and you'll still be going back and forth on this
talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So Taylor says, "Gee, we got the clown and ghost at his crib messing with his internet." Mate says, "Fire the head coach and rebuild the next 2 because we will have a top 15 pick." I mean, something's got to change, man, because, like you said, we've been talking about the same thing over and over and over again. And I mean, today was just a shellacking, and it just looked bad. And I can somewhat agree with you, J. Lou, that it looked like the players kind of gave up a little bit. Never seen that happen before.
No.
And I don't know if it's because of the way the coaches are coaching them and they feel like they, just didn't have a chance. But to me, you got to do something to help Tannehill out. And like I said, you decided to start chipping right before the half, but you didn't bring none of that to the second half, or you didn't make any other kind of adjustments to help get the ball out of his hands quicker. Now, he's got to hit Treylon Burks open, right, on that one pass that could have got some points. But again, like G Witt stated, they got to make the catches too. Now, we can say they can't get open, but we saw last week on the film plenty of times in that game there were people open. They could get open. They just can't catch the ball every time. So.
and I'd be interested again to see the 22 for this one. Some of these routes, man, and again, just look across the field at Stefanski for Cleveland. He was running routes to fit his wide receiver skill set, and we don't do that. We have too many routes. When you got an offensive line that I think officially they might have only gave up 5 sacks. It felt like 12 to 15. But when you got an offensive line that's giving up all the hurries and pressures like that, you don't need to keep running 10-yard routes with every single receiver.
Hey, look, right. the epitome of that was you got 3rd and whatever right inside your 5 or whatever, 3rd and 12. Why you got everybody running right? It was like I told my wife, I said, your first job in that position is to get more yards to make it easier for your punter to make a good punt. That's your first job. If you get the first down, that's gravy. But that's situational football. And that's something that Tim Kelly flunked in this game. And I give you credit. I mean, you got a pass rush like that, never went to a hurry up.
Nope.
Never went to a 3-step drop and get the ball out. Again, we're talking about short passing routes because that's one of the things they were doing with Deshaun Watson. Why wouldn't you do – and again, he that shall not be named, I think, still has a bad influence on this whole offensive coaching staff.
Again, I'm going to say that he that shall not be named, his name might be Mike Vrabel. It might be Mike Vrabel because, I mean, literally, he's not here no more, and it's the same thing. And again, Football 101 lets you know the quickest way to slow down a pass rush. I don't remember seeing a screen play today. Maybe they threw one. I saw no screen passes at all.
They did a bubble to Chig.
It's hard to screen when your O-line can't block at all.
You don't have to block on the screen. You just got to hold them up for a second.
Half a second.
That's the problem. They couldn't hold them up for a second.
But look at every screen that Cleveland ran. I mean, the Cleveland ran the shot. I mean, and that was when you look at our D line. They were just getting in there. And they was like, "Oh, it's a free rush." He's dumping it right behind him. And there's at
situational awareness.
There's at least 3 linemen against our DBs and linebackers 10 yards down the field. And it's situational football. And we never once did that. And what did the screen pass and the short pass do? It slowed up our pass rush. We allowed Myles Garrett to take over this game. Didn't make no adjustments, and then we just couldn't adjust to their speed on defense. And again, kudos to Schwartz. We all know as Titans fans forever, we've seen Schwartzy when he has a front 4 that can get after the ball. You're in trouble. They're going to eat because you're in trouble. He's wide-nodding you to death. He's got some corners that's gonna get muggy with you, and we saw that today. So.
And we saw tight run formations again today.
Again.
It's just the same. And that's what I keep getting back to. It's the same old. Yeah, we're repeating ourselves for the third week in a row this season. And really, when you stop and think about it, it's the 10th week in a row. When you go back to last season, we're just repeating ourselves. It's the same old. And you're right, J. Lou. It starts with the head coach. It starts with him. His philosophy and what he wants to do. And that, don't get me wrong, I agree with you have to be able to run the ball. But as we said from the very beginning when he first was named starter, you don't try to make Tannehill a drop back passer. He is a play action passer. Mm-hmm. And if you cannot take advantage of that, then you're doing him a disservice and you're doing your offense a disservice. And let's just be real about it too. We're still paying for J-Rob. We're still paying for J-Rob because you have, again, Treylon Burks may be a good receiver. He may turn out to be a great receiver, a good receiver, solid receiver.
The balls.
Yes.
But you can't keep dropping passes.
Him and Chig have a case of the droppings.
That's what I'm saying. You can't keep dropping passes. So the bottom line is, until and I put that more on Rob Moore also, because obviously you're not doing anything in these practices to make them catch the ball. I mean, it's always a matter of concentration and making sure you put your hands on the ball and say it's mine. Mm-hmm. But Chig came in with so much expectation, he's flunking. Let's just be real about it. He's flunking. And so is Treylon Burks. You got D-Hop on the other side. So you have opportunities to get out there and make plays because they're focusing on D-Hop, but you get open, get the ball hit you in the hand, and you can't hold on to it. And you're letting people strip it out from you. So look at it from that standpoint. You got a secondary that still cannot cover. And you got a defensive coordinator who knows that. So what does he do? He puts them in a basically off-cover situation, which makes it worse because everybody's throwing short. I mean, it started with New Orleans, and the Chargers just screwed up.
Well, but it started 3 years ago when he was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, you're still doing the same thing, and it's still not working. And for the life of me, and we've said it, I don't know how many times, it still never makes sense. You get in second and forever, or third and forever, and you decide you're going to keep everybody 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. And let's be honest about this. Shane Bowen's defense is one of the worst. I guarantee you teams have almost 1,000% conversion rate on 4th and short.
Oh, yeah.
We can't stop. Yeah. We hadn't stopped 4th and short since that game against Baltimore in the playoffs. That's the last time.
No, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, because one thing I will notice, teams are paying attention. Any quarterback or anybody who's back there taking it on 4th and short, they run whichever way Jeffrey Simmons goes. They're going the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going the opposite. Yeah. So they know they can't move him, so they're going the opposite way, and there's nobody coming from the backside to fill in. But yeah, we'll just keep repeating ourselves. I mean, when until this, I agree with. Like I said, I'll say it again. Like J. Lou said, until Vrabel changes, we're gonna be saying the same things for the rest of the season.
So I don't know if you heard it because you got disconnected, but we were saying, what is it going to take? Is it going to take Amy calling him to the office? Is it going to take Rance? Something's got to change because it's not, his philosophy is old and it's not working because we've seen this story play out many, many times and this hadn't happened.
Yeah, I heard you guys because I was still connected as far as senior. For some reason, it just went in the background. But anyway, I would say this. It's really, in all honesty, it really is going to take people like Jeffrey Simmons, Kevin Byard, and Derrick Henry going in that office and say, look, man, we got to make some changes. We can't keep doing this. You got to get sick enough of losing to be able to go in that office and tell us, look, we got to make some changes. We cannot keep playing like this.
I agree with you, Monte. Ever since Coach Coombs left, the secondary hadn't been working.
Yes.
I agree. I definitely agree with you, man. So we look at the AFC South after today. The Colts beat the Ravens in overtime, 22-19, go to 2-1. The Texans beat the Jags. Beat the Jags pretty good too. 37-17. They are 1-2. The Jags are 1-2. Of course, the Titans fall to 1-2. The Bengals are on the horizon, guys. We got they play on Monday night, and so Joe Burrow's dealing with a calf injury, but it doesn't really matter at this point because the offense can't move the ball unless they make some changes during the week. But J. Lou, man, let's talk about the Bengals. The keys to slowing down this offense if Joe Burrow plays. Of course, the obvious is play more physical on the outside edges.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've seen the past 3 games we played them. We can get to Joe Burrow. He's just a tough son of a gun, and makes plays. We're going to have the difference this year. This game's going to have to be more physical. I thought last year when we talked about the loss to the Bengals was one of the rare games that we saw us get pumped in the trenches. Right. I think that sticks out in their mind. We got to find a way to win the trenches on the offensive side of the ball, specifically from that standpoint. And we just got to get back to. We got to get in a flow of play calling on both sides. I felt like, and again, not to beat on today's game, but I think today's game was an example where neither side of the ball was play calling in a gameplay rhythm. So get back to the basics and get with that. I love the fact that we want to continue to try to pass on first down. I hate the fact that the first down passes are outside of pop shots on play action. I hate that the first down passes are 10, 12 yards. Make them shorter. Like, we've got to find a way to use that short game, 5 yard out to the tight end, something. But again, we've got to win at the trenches up front. And again, I think you hope that Peter is healed up from his procedure to give you some options at offensive line. Because right now, let's just be honest, there's not a lot of options given to the Titans at offense. If you look around the NFL, offensive line play is horrible throughout. I would say you probably got 5 that are good. Everybody else is barely hanging on to be average or if that, and then the below average. So, and I think a lot of that has to do with what you've seen in the last couple of years from a player safety standpoint. I think offensive line position is a spot where they don't get the reps in training camp and all like they used to back in the day. And I think you start to see that outside of, if you look around and watched any football yesterday, majority of the offenses in college football are in spread offense. Right. So that's a different type of lineman when you get to the NFL. So for those that saying, switch up, the only switch up I can see the Titans doing is if Peter gets back, you have some competition for left tackle. Because again, I think Hubbard got beat a few times today, but I think overall he's held his own. And the right side of that line, even with Brunskill, they've done okay. They've done average. That's all we wanted them to do, is just be average. So I think that's the hope for this week. But yeah, it's going to be one of them games where it almost feels like a divisional game because you played them every year for the last 3-4 years going now. And this is Vrabel's kryptonite. He has yet to beat this coach and yet to beat Joe Burrow. So you've got if you want to figure out a way to figure it out, this is the perfect week coming up. So
yeah, Nathan, I agree with you. West Coast got to go, man. He can't block at all. He's turned out to be worse. He's almost like a Jeff Swain.
He's worse than Swain.
and it's a crying shame. And again, you got his replacement on the practice squad.
Yes, you do.
So J. Lou, I agree with you, but I don't see them beating Cincinnati, to be totally honest. And here's the reason why. I would say this: Joe Burrow proved his mettle in that one playoff game. When you get sacked 11 times, you still come out firing. That's the type of quarterback we don't have. We don't have a competitive. I'm going to say we got. I will put it in context. We don't have a mean quarterback that says, I don't care how many times you hit me, I'm still coming at you. I'm still going to make these throws, and we're going to still get a chance to win the game. We don't have that type of quarterback. Tannehill may be tough in the fact that he can stand. He'll take a hit and come back and play the next play, but he's not mean enough to win you a game. And that's the difference we got. And that's the reason why we can't beat Joe Burrow and company. They really, when you go back and look at Cincinnati and look at the games we played them, with very little exception, have they been able to successfully run the ball on us. We've been able to basically contain their offense with our defense. But again, our offense gets pumped. We can't score on them. Mm-hmm. And so the bottom line is, and I'll go back to this and I say it again, you're right. He's Vrabel's kryptonite, and Vrabel doesn't have an answer for him. And neither does Shane Bowen or anybody on that offensive staff or on the defensive staff. None of them we don't have an answer for Cincinnati. So I fully expect going to that game on Sunday, we're going to come out of it 1-3.
Right now, we don't have an answer for too much. So
that's what I'm saying. We're coming out of it 1-3. I just don't see us winning that game.
You make them a prediction?
No,
not you. Not you. You don't make predictions.
Hey, look.
You don't make predictions.
What did I say last year?
You don't make predictions.
What did I say last year?
But you don't make predictions, so you already gave a lot.
Last year, I told you last year after the Cincinnati game that if he that shall not be named is still coaching the offense, we wouldn't win another game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Monte, you're right, man. Too many. I guess because they're playing too soft, man.
Well, and to Monte's point, and to what G. Witt said, and I haven't looked at the full stats today, but I assume they didn't have over 70 yards rushing. The Browns probably not even close to it. Nobody
78 yards rushing.
78. Well, that was a quiet 78. Yeah. Nobody can run the ball on this team. All you can do is pass it, which makes it even more frustrating that you haven't fixed your pass defense. Like nobody in the league has tried. Nobody since Saquon Barkley embarrassed them last year on game one.
Had 100 yards rushing.
Nobody. They've been on a historical run the last 17, 18 games as far against the run. Why haven't you fixed pass rushing? Like, and truly, you said 78 yards today. Some of that was in garbage time, I'm sure. At the end, I was gonna say that. Yeah. But I mean, they really didn't try to run. And to Monte's point and all, that's why you have to play a little bit bump. I'd rather be on here talking about, well, we just got burnt today by giving up because we was in bump and run coverage, than come on here talking about, well, they in 2nd and 2 every time because we 10 yards off the ball on first down and quick 8-yard out. That 8-yard out is the same as a run to me. That's like teams have figured out we can't really run the ball against the Titans. So instead, we're gonna short pass you to death and get down the field that way. And this bend but don't break philosophy, it's got to go away.
And they know that we're not going to adjust to the short pass game. We're not going to adjust. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So they got to fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't change
to even have a chance against the Bengals. The Bengals could be 0-3 coming to the game, so they'll be really hungry for a victory. We'll see with Joe Burrow being banged up and them struggling right now on the offensive side of the ball. It's still the Bengals. They're still there at the end of the year every year, and so until Vrabel can make changes, then we'll see. We'll be saying the same thing again next week after that game too. Thank y'all for getting out your comments, your questions in tonight on the show. Halftime adjustments, man. Thank you for joining us for a special time. Let's see, Monte, what did he say? We've been doing that. Remember when we beating the Jets? I lost it. Where'd it go? Lost the Jets and the Texans. They were the league's worst. Yep, I remember that, man. Yeah, Swartz was laughing. Everybody was laughing on their sideline. If you really
of course they were. Yeah. I mean, it was easy pickings. I mean, when you got a defense that you're going up against a weak offensive line, your defense can just go at it and eat. And like they said, keep it simple. They didn't complicate anything.
No, they
just kept it simple.
Rushing for
press coverage, rush for, and dare them to get open. Because again, Schwartz knows our quarterback situation. He knows who Tannehill is. And he knows Tannehill is not an elite quarterback. Now, if you had an elite quarterback, you couldn't get away with that. Because he would make adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Tannehill is not going to make adjustments at the line of scrimmage. He's just not.
Do something about that line too.
But again, when you got a weak offensive line, what's the best thing to do?
Exactly.
Quick offense. Hurry up.
Quick throws.
Get the ball out of his hand quick. And, put him in third and short situations. And again, the third down plays, even when you had third and short, I'm looking at them like, really? This is the best you can do?
Monte, I think he might have been shooting one of the coaches myself.
I thought he was talking about the coaches. I mean,
he was obviously disappointed in the game, and I think, especially after the way the games have been called the first 3 weeks of the season, that, it seems like the same type of run tight formations, the same type of run plays, and even when he's showing a new formation, he runs the same play out of that formation. And so, yeah, I think it's a shot at the coaching myself. And so we'll see what happens this week, because now the leaders are starting to speak out about things and see if Vrabel takes to heart what they're making it out to be.
And you take a ruler to those receivers' hands outside of D-Hop, because somebody got to get them to catch the ball.
Somebody got to get them to catch the ball. Somebody got to block, and somebody got to be able to make change at the line of scrimmage. Yep. So, I said, gee, with the problem I got, Tannehill's the quarterback filter and doesn't make any changes, play calls. That's J-Rob's QB. Yep.
I'm going to say, and I'm going to agree with Dion, but I'm going to push back just a little and say I wonder if that's coaching. Because for us to have an experienced vet like Tannehill, there are several times where we just run whatever's play is called and don't check out. He should have some checkout options. And again, it could come from the top. We don't know, but I don't see him doing enough audibles to Dion's point to get out of bad plays. There was one play today where
I know exactly what you're finna
Derrick
say.
Henry looked at him and would have looked like audible the play, because we literally, I don't know if it was going to be a run option or what, but you handed it to him, and there was 4 men in his face when you handed him the ball, and that was the look that Derrick Henry gave, and I was like, oh yeah, Derrick Henry's ticked. But again, I think that could come from the top.
Hey, but guys, thank you again for joining the show. Thank you for the support of the show, man. Check us out next week. Got a home game. The Bengals coming to town. We'll be back.
Already fed up. Trust me. You ain't got to worry. Will said when does D-Hop get fed up? He's already fed up. He already fed up. Who was Monte talking about? They fired his boy. Which one? Who's he talking about?
J-Rob. J-Rob. That's what he's talking about. So, guys, appreciate y'all joining us tonight for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie on there, G with J. Lou, man. We're out of here, man. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.